Hello there. It's Why Not Wednesday, so we're doing the body image tag because why not? Also because Gabby tagged me to do the body image tag, and we talked about body image yesterday, so I thought, yeah. Question number 1. Do you think you are traditionally / mainstream attractive? Does it matter to you? Ooh. My instinctual answer is definitely not. But I was recently interviewed for a podcast, I think a week ago or a couple weeks ago, where I actually stumbled around in acknowledging my beauty privilege. And it's such a complicated thing to talk about because having body dysmorphic disorder, it is very hard for me to acknowledge myself as attractive. However, there are certain things in the beauty ideals that I have that others don't that I have to acknowledge. Whether it be the structure of my teeth or the clearness of my skin, or my almond-shaped eyes, or having good hair, I think. Like, all of this is obviously, perceptive. It depends on who you are. Some of it does gain me privileges that it wouldn't in the circumstances of other people. So while acknowledging that I am physically privileged in certain ways when it comes to my aesthetic, I also just don't see myself in those beauty ideals. Like, I don't see myself as a disabled woman in beauty ideals. I don't see myself as a person who's in between skinny and fat. Like, I'm a plus size person. I have to shop in the plus size section of a store, but I'm not as plus size as somebody much larger than me. So that weird in-between state, like, there's not very much room for it anywhere in our media. You're either a fat person or a skinny person. There's very little room for women when you're in the in-between. As for does it matter to me? Like, not when it comes to my self-esteem. I've come to a place where I often forget what I look like and that I even have a body. I often forget what people see when they look at me. I often forget that people, I often forget that I kind of turn heads for one reason or another when I enter a room, whether it's because of the color of my hair or because of my wheelchair. I am noticeable. I forget that because I spend so much time internal that I forget what I look like, and so it's honestly not a huge importance to me, though that doesn't mean that I don't have insecurities about my body that I am constantly working to like radically accept about myself and love about myself. But for the most part, it doesn't bother me. For the most part, I am okay with what I look like. What was your biggest insecurity when you were a teenager? What is it now? How has your body image changed? Since I was 10 years old, I had a really big insecurity about my nose. And that doesn't really go away, especially now being so visible on YouTube. I've had so many people try and like make fun of my nose. What's my favorite? Oh, and now that I wear glasses, like, there's like these big comments about, I don't even want to see them out loud because I don't want to give anybody ideas. Yeah, I get it. I have a big nose and I have a funny looking face. I get it. And then of course was the insecurity that I'm fat, and my body dysmorphic disorder made me a lot fatter than I actually am. And of course, as many of us struggle with, like, fat was associated in my mind with ugly, and it was associated with bad and with unhealthy for a very long time. I had a lot of fat phobic ideas, and like many people as well, it was mostly internal. Like, we didn't necessarily, well, I'm gonna only speak for myself. I didn't necessarily see other fat people as ugly, but I definitely saw myself as someone who could not work a fat body, and the fat body that I thought I hallucinated that I had at the time. Now my insecurities are kind of the same thing. My dysphoria messed a lot with my weight, like, in my head. So sometimes I get triggered and it comes back, and I get very scared of my arms. I get scared of my arms being too fat, or my tummy rolls. I have a lot of dysphoria when it comes to my breasts and my hips. I kind of wish I didn't have breasts and I didn't have hips. Or my butt either, actually. And I've always wondered, like, if that was just, you know, my fat phobic body dysphoria, or if that was like some kind of gender dysphoria as well. But my body image has changed drastically since I was a teenager, since going on a recovery mission from body dysmorphic disorder. I'm now at a very peaceful place with my body. I don't fight it. I get triggered sometimes by my mental illness, and what it does is it makes me afraid of my body. It makes me afraid of the amount of space I take up. But that's part of my mental illness and something that I can't help, though I fight it as hard as I can. But honestly, when I'm well, I'm at a very peaceful place with my body. It's not an obsession anymore. I just go about my life as though I were like a floating ball of gas. Like, I forget that I have a body. I just do my thing. How does your style play into your body image? I don't know. I don't know that my style... I mean, I would be a total liar if I said that I didn't use style to flatter or hide things, but definitely not as much as I used to. I've become way more comfortable with showing off my arms and my stomach, and I work at it. Like, even if some wardrobe doesn't make me feel absolutely comfortable, I work with, like, being radically visible and radically body positive, and being visible as a non-white, non-thin, non-able-bodied body. And my style is very fluid. Like, I have a very hard time pinpointing how I dress, because it just changes for me all the time. Like, sometimes it's very high femme, sometimes it's kind of androgynous, sometimes it's kind of edgy, or some people have described it as punk, which I wouldn't go that far. I would say maybe dressing in all black is edgy, but I don't know about punk. How do you define your beauty? I don't know. Well, obviously everybody defines beauty differently for themselves. For me, beauty... I think beauty is joy. I think beauty is comfort. I think beauty is peace. I think that people shine as beautiful when they can see beauty in others and in themselves. Like, it's just such an equal playing field of aesthetic and inner beauty as well. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I think that it's so easy growing up in this society to criticize the way other people look and to judge people all the time. But if you can find that peace within yourself to not be so judgmental of the way people look and not so judgmental of actions that others commit, as long as they aren't harmful to anybody, I think that peace is a really beautiful thing. And I guess that's how I would define beauty. And in that way, literally anybody can have it. Anybody can have that light that makes them beautiful if they can just find that peace within themselves. Alright everyone, thanks for joining me for the body image tag. I don't know who to tag. I never know who to tag in these. So I want to tag Katie Scarlett, tag Ricky Pointer, and anybody else who wants to do it, I welcome you to do it as well. And I will see you eventually. Bye.